R. Kelly declined to take the witness stand today as his attorneys wrapped up their defense in his sex trafficking trial in New York.
Yeah, after 6 weeks of testimony from more than 45 witnesses, Kelly's lawyers rested their case in just a day and a half, and closing arguments began just after lunchtime. Reporter Jim DeRogatis has been covering R. Kelly for more than 20 years now. He is joining us now to talk a little bit about today's developments in court. Hello to you.
Hello, both of you.
Okay, so let's.
We've gone into hyperdrive.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I want to start with the decision by R. Kelly not to testify in his own defense. Do we have any insight from his attorneys or any idea as to why that may have been, and perhaps any reaction during the trial from R. Kelly that you can talk about?
No, the attorneys for both sides have not been talking in the media very much at all about their strategies. One can't help but think that when Kelly went on and was flamboyantly acting out on with Gayle King on CBS, that would not have been an effective display on the stand. We don't know what could he have possibly said. With 45 witnesses and a pattern of behavior that the prosecution sketched out lasting 30 years, it would have been very hard to defend himself.
Mm-hmm. The prosecution spent a month presenting their case. His team only took a couple of days. What did you hear from them, Jim, that stands out?
Well, the thing that's horrifying, and I think we're at a loss here, that there is no local media in Brooklyn at this trial. It was horrifying to hear a Chicago police officer who left the force after admitting guilt to forging checks talk about him giving security to R. Kelly and other Chicago police officers working as Kelly's security when they were off duty. The defense presented 5 witnesses, all men, all of whom said they never saw any of the behavior that we heard about at great length during the prosecution's 19 days of testimony. But there's a lot of people that are complicit here in either willfully not seeing this behavior or seeing it and never doing anything to aid the victims who stretch back to 1991.
It's so interesting. On the government side, we talked about these 45 witnesses that testified. It's hard to go through all of those, and there's so much to that testimony. If you could explain some of the ones that sort of you think will stand out to the jury, that the jury will really take into account.
Well, I think that all of those brave young men and women who told their stories, which were harrowing, I think it was the cumulative effort, Lourdes. I spoke to one of the top experts in the country for a piece I have in the New Yorker that went online today about the racketeering laws. And I think what the government was trying to do is say that Kelly ran this enterprise for 30 years while selling an incredible 100 million albums and directing many different associates, aides, employees over those 30 years to essentially round up victims for him. And I don't think that it was any one witness who made a difference. I think it was witness after witness after witness, the cumulative effect, because, they span abusive incidents from 1996 until that day in 2019 when Kelly was arrested in front of his luxury apartment at Trump Tower, Chicago. It's the whole 30 years that's come home to roost.
And that's the major difference between this racketeering trial in New York and R. Kelly's trial that we had at the Cook County Courthouse here a bunch of years ago. That was one case, and this goes to a pattern of conduct.
One case limited by a judge, Judge Vincent Gaughn. This pattern was already well established and reported on by the Chicago Sun-Times since 2000, when Kelly was tried and acquitted in 2008. Chicago failed these many, many, many victims, 48 whose names I know, 22 mentioned in this federal trial. Chicago failed. The court systems failed. The The press failed. The churches failed. The schools failed. I think that this tragedy is going to be one that's going to be examined by people for decades to come, and it has a lot to do with race.
All right, Jim DeRogatis, you've done such a wonderful job covering this case and this trial. We appreciate your time. We hope to have you again back soon.
Sure.
Okay, up next, you're